Okay folks, here we are again. Welcome back to the channel as usual. Right, today I'm going to do what will be the last of the vintage science fiction pickups. Got 2 weeks to do, 2 weeks worth of stuff that I've picked up, but I thought rather than string it out over 2 videos, I would lump it all into this one and get it all done and dusted. I mean, I do apologise for to any of you expecting more variety from the channel, but due to my sort of like association with science fiction back in the day, and the fact that I sold a lot of mine, getting this stuff back has become a bit of a passion project, if you like. So yeah, but as I say, that this will be the last now because the shop has run out of science fiction I've bought orders to have. I think one of the other shops took the rest of the stock that I hadn't picked for myself, so they are literally sort of like bereft of science fiction now. The ones I've got in are ones that I've got, so yeah, this will be it. Probably be a relief to a few of you. But anyway, those of you who share my passion for vintage science fiction paperbacks, let's get into it. Before we start today, I just want to mention this that I read recently. Now, I mean, this is generally by the people that are sort of like the in crowd in science fiction. This is one of these books that's sort of well thought of. The blurb on the cover, probably one of the most enthusiastically received novels in the history of modern science fiction, says Michael Moorcock. Now, as you can see, it's quite a thin book, and it does have another couple of short stories in there. I mean, the actual Rose is only about 84 pages, I think. So, I mean, to me, it's more of a novella. I mean, at best, it's a novella. You could call it a long short story, really. But I just wanted to say that I didn't really hold it in as high regard as most people seem to. So I'll be interested to know, any of you that read science fiction, whether you read this and what you thought of it. Okay, that's that one. Right, now I'll start off with a couple of things I got on eBay before we do the pickups, because I'm collecting this series of Corgi Science Fiction Collectors Library, and I picked up a little job lot of the Arthur C. Clarke books. That's the other side of the sky. As I say, I fondly remember these all from when I was in my teens. These are slightly later printings, but it doesn't matter because it's the same covers. So yeah, that's the other side of the sky. That one is the Wind from the Sun. Of course, the other lovely thing about these is they're all the same kind of covers. You know, they're all the same sort of pattern artwork, if you like. So yeah, they make a nice little set. I mean, it's going to be quite costly to put the set together because some of them are quite expensive now. So the Wind from the Sun, report on Planet 3 and Other Speculations. Long title, I couldn't remember it. They're not in bad shape, so I was quite happy to pick 4 up together. They're only about £3 each, which is quite cheap for these. Actually, some of them are, going into 10s, 15 quid. And reach for tomorrow. I'm a bit out of shape. I'll have to try and do something about that. But anyway, that's 4 of the Arthur Clarkes. Now onto the onto the actual pickups. The first of the week's pickups was week 9, I think it was, or 10, I can't remember. Had some very interesting stuff in there. A lot of the stuff I've shown you is sort of vintage-ish. I consider vintage to be 70s and before. So once you get into 80s, kind of not vintage in my opinion, but just depends. It depends really. I mean, people have different ideas about vintage, but the same mine is 70s and downwards. But in this little lot, I found some very nice 60s stuff, and even one from the 50s, which I'll come to later on. Anyway, this was the first pickup. Here is Ascending by Mike Resnick. I've heard of this author. I can't say I'm familiar with him, but this is an American first Signet Books printing, and this is November '84. So it just falls out of my idea of truly vintage. Right, A. Van Vogt, quite a prolific author, as many of you will know. Book of Paperbacks. Nice condition, that one. Nothing on the back there. And this is a more modern book. It is a reprinted Granada book from 1973. Oh, not that modern. I thought it was a bit older, so anyway, yeah, 73. So bad. Right, here's one of those. I mean, I've shown you quite a lot of these over the weeks. Doc Smith. Never been a fan of space opera, to be quite honest, but I've never read any Doc Smith, so there were quite a lot in the shop to be had, so I thought I'll buy them, I'd buy them all. Grey Lensmen, that's part of obviously the Lensmen series. It's the fourth, in fact, it's the fourth novel. I thought it was the first, but it's the fourth in the Lensmen series. So yeah, it's been well read, but in bad shape. That hails from, it's a Panther book again, and it hails from 1972. Doc Smith, good old Doc. Right, okay, now I've shown you, I don't normally pick up duplicates, so I try not to. Sometimes I forget what I've got. This wasn't the case with this one. I knew I had it, but I bought this one because it's the American Bantam Books edition that I used to have. So I replaced the old English one with this because I remember it from back in the day. It's very nice condition. It's hardly been read. The paper's not too brown, and this is a first printing Valentine book, September 1973. So yes, I can remember picking that one up. Then we have another Niven, The World of Paperbacks, I think it'll be. That's a British Sphere book. Some nice artwork there. Again, not in too bad shape. Where's a little bit of damage there where a sticker's been removed, but don't worry too much about that sort of thing. And this hails from 1971, and again it's the first UK edition. Paperback, that is. Right, I remember having this one too. Grey Matters by William Hughes. I'm not familiar. I don't know any other stuff that he's done, but I do remember that one because I had it. Again, there's nothing much on the back of these that's worth reporting. That one's got a bit of a nasty crease down it, but as I say, given the age of these, that is a first Sphere Books edition. That was the first paperback from 1974. So most of these I'm showing you are truly vintage in my opinion. There is a nice one. This is an old Valentine Books edition. Theodore Sturgeon. Not Without Sawdry. I don't remember having that one in my collection. I'm pleased to do so now. As you can see, these were American books that were distributed over here, and that would be from Doesn't say. I think I did look it up. I think it was 1963, as I recall. Just going from memory on that one. Because I'm keeping a little diary of all the books I keep. There's a site called Goodreads where you can actually fill in a sort of like not a spreadsheet, but it's a database. That's the idea. Database, and you can put all your books in, and if they're not there, you can actually put them in yourself. If you can find the cover, you can even do that. So yeah, go to Goodreads, look for the database if you have a decent collection, because it's very, very useful. That was that one. Right, this is, I thought this was old, and it was actually. Satellite one by Geoffrey Lloyd Castle. This is console books. I'm not really, excuse me, I'm not really familiar with that publisher. I think I have had one or two in the past, but certainly that's one I never ever had, and that one hails from 62. It looked like a late 50s kind of cover to me, but early 60s. That one. Now I've already got a copy of this. There again, I knew I had this. It's I've got a large book from Starblaze. It's an oversized book, but I like this. I like this cover, so I decided just to buy it, for the joy of having the normal paperback edition. Someone Not Die by Eldridge Budrus. You wrote a very good one of my favourites, but a very, very good science fiction book called Who, about a spy who comes back from Russia with an iron head. It sounds really interesting, but it is a good book. This is Mayflower Dell from 1964, and it's a first UK paperback. Right, definitely remember having this one. Six Gun Planet by John Jakes. He wrote quite a lot. He was quite prolific back in the 60s, 70s. There's a paperback library again. It's an American edition. Not too bad. It's a bit unsquared at the side there, but obviously it's been read a few times. And that particular edition is American, and it hails from April 70 and is the first American paperback. I like to have the first printings wherever possible. Just a collector's thing, Right, it's another one of those 5-star paperbacks with the horrible artwork on the front. They've all got that dodgy looking artwork. Lynn Carter, he was another prolific writer. Giant World's End, I'm not familiar with it. I don't think I ever had it. Obviously been read a couple of times, but not in too bad shape really. And that hails from his first paperback from, it's Roman, so I'll have to figure it out. That's 1972. Roman numerals inside. Takes my brain a bit longer to work one of those out. 72. Whoop. It's right all over the floor. We'll have to leave that one down there. Right, I don't remember having that one. The Genetic General by Gordon Dixon. Digit Books. I think that one goes way back. Let's have a look. Yeah. Right, doesn't actually give a date, but I would imagine it's sometime in the early 70s anyway. Just gives the American date, strangely enough. Right, now this one I was very intrigued with. Not in the best of shape. It's still sticky from it. It had somebody had put some plastic covers around it and stuck them in with sticky tape, and as you can see that was on the inside, so it's actually bled through. But having said that, I mean, it's not in the best of shape, to be honest. I mean, but having said that, this is one of the earliest books, I think, paperbacks I think I've had. I certainly never had it back in the day, and it's from actually 1953. Venusian Adventure by E.C. Tubb, who was another very prolific science fiction author. And yeah, the interesting thing about this one is, apart from its age, 53, it has inside a signature. Now I thought, oh, this, somebody's probably just rubbed it in, but actually wrote it in. But actually, I researched that online and found a couple of books that were signed by him, and that is identical. So it is a proper signed 1953 paperback by E.C. Tubb, which I was quite pleased about, to be quite honest. Okay, now that was the first week's, and then the final week's books are here, and we start off with Star Wasps. That's very sort of 50s, 60s. It's published by Priory Books, who I've never heard of before. There's a little bit of damage on the pages, front pages, but yeah, it's not in bad shape apart from that. That only says it was first printed by Ace Books, but I think I've narrowed it down to 71. I think that was a general opinion. Nobody online actually had a date for it, but a couple of people had 71 question marks. So I mean, it could feasibly be late 60s, but 71 will do. Then we have another. That's a collection, that one. Oh no, it's a novel. By Richard Wilson. Not the actor Richard Wilson, of course. Mayflower Dell book. Another one I don't recall having, although having said that, I had a mountain of these things. And this was first grade British publication, 1967. So going back a ways. Now this one, very strange one. It's a collection of short stories by these people, all very well-known authors. And it's compiled by these two people on the front there, Hayden and Nancy Chambers. Now, top line of books, Macmillan apparently. I've heard of Macmillan, but their top line of range, I've never heard of them. I looked it up on eBay, and I don't think there was another one up. So it's obviously not one that you're going to see very often. But it's a 1971 book reprinted. That's the third print from 74. So yeah, I found that one quite intriguing, simply because there doesn't seem to be many of them about. Right, I remember this series of stories by Piers Anthony. There was a few more in the series. Not a great lover of this style of science fiction, but nevertheless, it has a very nice cover. I recognise the artist, but so many of these artists are the same. You know, like you've got the great King Frank Frazetta, and then people like Boris Vallejo obviously took their style from Frazetta's style, and this is not either of those, but I definitely recognise it. It's a shame that they don't give you credits for the artist inside. I think the artists, probably deserve some credit. Anyway, but this is a Corgi book, and it's 1977 first UK paperback. of art spills over to the back there as well. Okay, I'll just finish this and we'll get thirsty. Dry work all this talking. It doesn't do my voice much good either. Anyway, here's another one of those nice American books that I enjoy picking up. Now this one is kind of minty, but this, I mean, Smiths was selling this at some point for 70p. Now I'd say that was a bargain. But anyway, Inherit the Stars by James Hogan. It's a Valentine Del Rey printing, American of course, and that would be from first paperback edition, May 77. So we're doing well on the first paperback printings this time. Right, there's a bit more A. Van Vogt. That one is a collection of his stories. If you ever find a mass of science fiction books, you'll find quite a few A. Van Vogt books in there. Not an author that I've read a lot of. I might have read the odd short story, but certainly read none of his novels. That is a Panther book. I would imagine from the 60s sometime. Where are we? Yeah. First UK edition, September 63. So it's another first paperback printing. Okay, now this is a weird one. I was trying to get a picture of this in my database because all the pictures on it were the wrong colour. Very similar to this, but they didn't have this. They didn't have the black. I finally found one, but obviously the other versions of it are more prominent. This is obviously one of the scarcer printings, I would imagine. Strangely enough, even though it's an English book, a Sphere edition, it's actually got an American price sticker on it. So obviously our books do get shipped to America, but then it's found its way back here. So it's gone from here to America and then back again, which is rather weird. So another Harry Harrison book. I've got quite a few of his now. This one's in very nice shape, very white pages, and it's a Sphere book from 1986, although it was originally published in 75, so that's about a fourth printing, I think, or a fifth printing. Not ideal, but it's another book. Right, now this, although this is, it says Asimov, I think they were actually previously released under a pen name of his, Paul French, and they're part of the David Starr Space Ranger series. I've shown you 5 and 6 out of the 6, and this is number 4. Fourth. It's in very nice condition. I don't think it's even been read. The pages are only very slightly brown, but this is well reprinted. This is from '83, but the same very nice nick. Right now, I haven't picked up too much by this guy, Orson Scott Card. I know he's well liked. His books are well liked because he did the Ender's Game, of course. But Court of this is volume 2, as you can see, of a series. This one is again not being read by the look of it. It's very nice shape. Pages up, shiny white, and that is 1994 by Legend Books. So it's a more recent. I don't mind having the more recent stuff because obviously I haven't read anything, that's really recent. Right, then we've got another Edmund Cooper, A Fast Sunset, Coronet edition again. Very nice shape, apart from that little dink in the corner, but that's nothing. And that hails from 1979 and is a 4th printing. Yeah. And then, I've heard of this book. I've seen it on various channels where they talk about their top sort of like 20, top 10 science fiction novels, and that normally features. I've never read any of his. I've heard of them, but yeah. So Night Watch by Orbit Books again. It's been read obviously, but it's still in very nice shape, very square. Pages are whitish, and this one's interesting. It's actually got an inscription, and you don't see many of this. You can see it there. I'll just read it to you. It says, "Best regards, Harry. Wasn't there another way to persuade you to buy this copy? ? Signed, Andrew Stevenson, 1978. It's rather nice. You don't see much of that, and this was actually a first UK paperback from '77. So yeah, it's a nice little addition. I like anything that's signed, and anything that has an inscription even better. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I'm not that much of a purist, quite frankly. Right now, this is coming more recent. I've read a lot of the books that have won the Hugo Award, but this is a more recent winner, and it's an American book. It looks more like a fantasy book than a science fiction book to me. Paladin of Souls, by Lois McMaster Bujold. I've never heard of her, but I did look up all the Hugo winners, and there she was. But it actually says fantasy there. I didn't think fantasy books won the Hugo, but what do I know? And this one is the first paperback printing 2005, so that's the first American paperback from just 17 years ago. One of the much more recent books that I've got. And last but not least, we have James Blish and All the Stars of Stage. I left this one to last because it's got something that's been sticky on the bottom. I've endeavoured to remove some of it, but I've started removing the actual cover itself, so as you can see down there. So I stopped doing that, and just have to put up with a little feeling of stickiness. But apart from that, it's in very nice shape, a corgi book, and that is a novel, and it hails from 1975, and it's a first UK paperback. Okay, so there you have it, folks. That'll be it for the science fiction for the time being. As I say, it has been a bit of a passion of mine getting some of this stuff back. There's just a hope that when I come across this stuff, I remember it. Oh yeah, I remember where I was when I bought that. I actually just saw one online. Book that I just sort of jumped out of eBay to me. I thought, oh yeah, I remember seeing that and buying it at the time and thinking, oh, what a strange title for a book. Yeah, anyway, that's all beside the point. Right, so next time up, I don't know really. I'll have to get my thinking cap on. We'll think of something. But anyway, in the meantime, thank you for your patience watching these SF videos, and I'll put my thinking cap on and come up with something in the very near future. So thank you very much for watching, and bye bye for now.